I never knew my father. Here's the opposite side of that scenario where you do meet him and something beautiful could really come of it, because I ended up doing that when I was 37 years old, and then he got cancer and died 6 months later. I even had that little brief window of time with him, and I can't get that back. I got to make sure I am disciplined and unbreakable and a fearless leader, but also how can I be that as a director? If I'm in charge of a 200-person crew, like this warrior poet priest that's leading everyone to make this great piece of creative work. I was sharing all the years of infertility with me and my wife, all the many miscarriages we've had and all the suffering that she's been through. And all of a sudden we're crying at lunch. It's supposed to be a medium to bring people together, get them in the dark cave, and this is your one light to all sit around and share stories and then be moved and inspired and take that out into the world and create new memories and see yourself in a new way. Happen to be dropping in on it.
100%. And that's the whole point of this show, the living room, which is like we're just hanging out talking in the living room and we're just having a conversation, and we're going to talk about real things instead of just like, so you're a director, which isn't bad. I love that you are, but you're a lot more than that. Although, I don't know if you know that, Evan, but I mean, I met you this summer at Napa. Mm-hmm. Or this past summer, right? In 2025.
Yeah, this past summer.
Which you shouldn't date things. So I'm already crushing the podcast. But I met you.
Well, it's funny about, yeah.
Go ahead.
I didn't wear my St. Patrick's Day shirt because I didn't want to date the episode.
But now we're telling everybody.
Like, oh, it's a couple of weeks. I'm like, I have my green. And my wife's like, you can't do that. And I was like, I do look like a walking green screen in this thing. It's just...
Yeah, that's funny. I didn't even think about the green screen thing. You're just a floating head.
Just a floating head. I know. I mentioned to Mackenzie like in the emails, like, oh, St. Patrick's Day, it'll be so fun. And then I was like, oh, wait, hold on.
No.
This will be a dated episode.
Yeah, we have no dates here. It is 2035 when we're filming this. So no, I'm kidding.
Future.
It is the future.
Run. Everything is still bad if you listen to the news.
Everyone in office today is still there. Anyway. That would be crazy. That's your next movie. You're welcome. I just thought
it's called They Won't Die. That's what the
I love that. That's all. They won't die. So I met you in 2025 in the summer. There's a great Catholic, I don't even know what to call it. I mean, is it a conference? Is it a festival? Is it both? Is it, I don't, it's a meeting, it's an institute, but it's the Napa Institute.
Right. It's like their big conference. It's a conference.
It is.
It really
okay.
is. Because you have all the different talkers and the panels you can go to, right? And then the dinners, and it's all fun. But it was unique this past year because it was the first time they had the arts portion.
Yes.
So it's the Napa Institute Arts Festival, which kicked off, which was a great lead in for the Summer Institute big conference that they do every year.
Yeah. And it's kind of the who's who. There's a lot of big name people. Then there's people like me who actually bought a ticket. I think I'm one of the only people that bought a ticket. Everybody else is like, my business.
That's
bought
fair. You could contribute way too much.
Like it was like, but I've been wanting to go to Napa for a really long time. I've heard about it for such a long time. Had you heard about it before the arts festival piece, or was that your first introduction to Napa Institute?
I had heard about the Institute for a few years. I'm like, oh, I really want to go. I don't know much about it. I don't know who's been. And then my brother, he's super Catholic too. And I reverted back to the faith after him, like several years after him. So he was all dialed in and plugged in and like knew everybody and what's what and who's who. So I've always been playing from behind. He's like, oh yeah, Napa Institute. I know these people who run it. I know the president, blah, blah, blah. Well, of course you do. Which is great. He's been an awesome resource. So finally I'm like, hey, Eric, I get to go. This is awesome. He's like, I've never been. I was like, finally, I get to beat you with some Catholicness.
I love the brother and my Catholicness. Who's older out of the two of you? Who's the...
I am 2 minutes older.
Oh, he's your twin brother. Did I?
It's my twin. Oh, I forget to tell people
That's
that. It
hilarious.
does get us into
Otherwise, your
trouble.
mom is
Hey,
really magical.
yes. Yeah.
So your twin brother. Are y'all identical twins?
We are, and we only found that out in like several years
Really?
ago, because we always thought we were fraternal twins.
Yeah.
Like the low rent version of twins is how we kind of like looked at ourselves. And then we did like the DNA testing because we're trying to find like relatives and just for fun. And then we found they came back. You're like, you're DNA identical. You're identical twins. We're like, what? My mom was like, well, it was the 80s. We didn't really have the technology to know. We just kind of guessed.
That's
I was
crazy.
like, okay, great. So,
I have a
so
set.
now we're the fancy kind.
You are the fancy kind. You're like the real. You're like the real kind. You're not the fake twins. But like I have a set of twin cousins. I'm one of 58 first cousins. Okay, so we're a big family. My mom's
Whoa.
actually a twin, but her twin is a boy. So Ricky and Vicky, isn't that cute?
Cute.
But I have a set of twin cousins and they look identical. They look identical, but they actually are fraternal, which I heard and found out that Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen are actually fraternal twins. So same with my cousins, Rachel and Rochelle. I don't know if that's true. Is that true? Do you know Mary Kate and Ashley?
I don't trust any of these doctors. They're getting it all wrong for you. They're ruining it for twins everywhere. They haven't figured it out yet.
I know. Well, anyway, so you're the smart older brother. That's what I've heard. And so you make it to
I wish.
Napa. And this is where I got to see this amazing, like, I love that you have the poster in the back of your film that was, now it didn't premiere. I know, there it is. It didn't premiere at Napa, but we got to watch a screening of it when we were there, and I went to it, and I was such a creeper after. I was telling this to everybody that's in this room right now. I was like, y'all, I went up to Evan. I was like, I have so many feelings. I was like, I have to tell him all the things about this film. It is spectacular. Like, I'm not going to say was, because it is. It is an extraordinary film. I told you that day, and when I saw it, it's incredible. Like, it is just so cool. And I got to know something. How did you get involved in the project of the film Motherland? How did you land the directing role? Like, because I've told everyone that you wrote it, you star in it, you produced it, you're the craft service guy. Like, according to me, you're best grip. Like, you're everything.
That's so funny.
So how did you get involved?
I wish we could. It goes back a little bit. So the production company, MPI Original Films, they have a talent incubator arm where they are developing people that kind of fit like what they're looking for with like their profile and filmmakers they want to work with, and give people a chance that haven't maybe made their first feature yet. So I've been doing their workshops and different labs that they had for like years, and just staying friends with them and staying in front of them. And one of the scripts that went through their screenwriting workshop was Motherland, and they were greenlighting, and they were looking for directors. And I met with Lana Link, who's also at the Napa
I met her.
Institute
She's
with
amazing.
Motherland, and she's amazing. She runs the arts festival there, with John Blanford. And yeah, we're having a lunch just to catch up, and it wasn't a typical Hollywood lunch meeting where it's usually very surface level and everyone has really great intentions of working together one day and then nothing happens. But we started talking. She made a comment about, not ever like meeting or knowing her dad. And I never knew my father. And I told her, I was like, look, here's the opposite side of that scenario where you do meet him, and something beautiful could really come of it. Cause I ended up doing that when I was 37 years old, and then he got cancer and died 6 months later. And I'm just so thankful I even had that little brief window of time with him, and I can't get that back. And there's like so much love and forgiveness that happened there. So that's
Incredible.
like how
I
our
love your
meeting
story,
started.
Evan. I love that you just drift through it. You're like, I didn't have a dad, met my dad. Like, you're just like...
Well, it was very much like leaning in, because we're like talking, we're having sushi, we're having like this very like deep conversation. And then we started talking about like her being a mom and my children. I was sharing all the years of infertility with me and my wife, and all the many miscarriages we've had, and all the suffering that she's been through, and holding her hand through all of that. And all of a sudden we're crying at lunch, and it's like a Monday, and I leave and she leaves, and we're both like going back to work. We're like, well, this happened. Okay, well, this was great. It was so wonderful catching up with each other. But she texts me the next day. She goes, Evan, I can't believe I didn't think to bring this up, but we just greenlit the script Motherland, and there's so many parts of your story that you shared with me that are in this movie in some form or another. We've already heard from all the directors that we're considering, but we're making a decision at the end of the week. Can you pitch it this week if you like the script? I said, yeah, sure, send it. So I read it Tuesday night, did my notes, read it again Wednesday morning, texted her back, yes, I want to pitch it. She's like, great, can you pitch it on Friday? I'm like, oh, wow, okay, sure. She's like, just show up. You don't have to do a pitch deck. Just like, I know it's short notice. Just come to the meeting. So I go to, it was a Zoom meeting. So I was surprised. I thought it was going to be in person because I'm like, oh, just get me in the room and I'm just going to kill. It's going to be great. Just feed off everyone's energy. And I was like, oh, no, it's Zoom. Okay. So I have to bring like that YouTube energy. I'm like, oh, got to like really bring it and be on, like be extra on. So I'm like, okay, I got to transfer that energy through the screen. Like they have to be able to feel the emotions and catch the feels of what I'm going to tell them, which was pretty much what I went through with Lana in our lunch meeting. So I figured, okay, this pitch is going to be 80% personal, who you're getting, who's Evan Matthews, why is he the perfect director for this movie based on the life experiences I've had, the obstacles I've overcome, and of course my entertainment history and background. And then it's like 20% was pitching the movie and going through like the pitch deck I did put together, and you taking quotes from Nicole's script and creating scenes and then talking all the different departments. Because a lot of the stuff you realize it's going to change as you get into pre-production. Like you have these great ideas. You're really trying to demonstrate you've thought this through. I know where I want to go. I know like the flavor and the mood and the vibe and what you're going for, and that I want to deliver a prestige film for you guys. I know that's what you've been in the hunt for with your production company. I'm the one that's going to give it to you. So we're wrapping up the call. It went really well. I was like, sweating through all my clothes, and they said, one of the producers said, "Hey, Evan, that was so great. That was so great. One of the producers couldn't be here. Could you possibly pitch this again on Monday?" I was just like, "Oh, sure. Absolutely." So I was like, "Oh, wow, this is crazy." So Monday I do the same thing again. It was like 95% of the energy. Like, it was
Sure.
because it was a little bit neater and dialed in, and it wasn't as like, "Oh, I'm your guy." And then I pitched it. I felt good about it. I got off, and then Lana texted me, "Hey, we have 3 more questions we need to clarify because you mentioned these things." So they had a question about the changes I want to make to the scripts. I cleared that up. They were on board. We talked about production design and some colors that they were thinking, I was thinking. So we cleared that up because I knew that could possibly change too. And then the third question was, do you want to direct this movie? And I was just like, oh, wow. I was like, well, they totally got me.
I love that I'm shocked. I'm like, you got it?
I got it. I'm going to go make this movie now.
Congratulations.
It was so crazy. It got me. I had like the single French tear, like about just like coming down. I was like, you got
the
me.
Denzel
so good,
Washington
tear
really... from Glory.
Yes, that's it. I was waiting. I was like, I get it now. It's me. This is my glory moment.
I love it. That's incredible.
So
and was it already cast?
That's how I got Motherland.
That's how you got Motherland. Was it already cast when you got it? Like,
no, not at all. Actually, it was the opposite of how something could be cast, because we were making this movie during the writer's strike and the actor's strike.
So you guys planned that really well. You really thought that through.
It was crazy. Like, can you imagine? It's already hard enough to make a film. Yeah. But then you have 2 major unions striking, and they're like going up against the studios that have no chance to go up against. It's just like, and then everyone's politicking in different ways with how they might want to use this film as a carrot to dangle for another job they want, or they want to sit on it because we're a bunch of scabs because we're making a movie during the strikes. Right. And so you don't know who's where, and no one's playing with their cards up really. So you got to just, it was quite a situation to navigate, but we did okay.
You did more than okay. The film is beautiful. I told you specific things because I wanted you to know I wasn't just fangirling and like blowing smoke everywhere. But there were very specific moments in that film that I was like, okay, and this, your choice here was amazing. And I love that you chose this. And like, you did it from this way. And I not to, ruin the movie or anything, because I'm not going to, but there's a scene that I went up to you afterwards. I was like, there's a scene where she's sitting in the hallway. And that just really spoke to me. And the way that you came at that was just so brilliant in my mind, the way that you just filmed all of that. And I loved it. But I gotta ask, so here you are, you're a Catholic in Hollywood, right? And you're not just kind of a Catholic, you're like a super Catholic with like a cape. Like you have like
Oh, I wish.
well, I think you have a super Catholic cape. And
I'm trying. I'm trying to be a good boy.
you are, and your wife is lovely, and your children are just scrumptious, and and so here you are, and you're living this very Catholic life, but this isn't a quote unquote Catholic film. This isn't a quote unquote Christian movie. It's not. I mean, or is it? And I'm wrong. I mean, because I felt like it was presented in that it's a secular kind of film, like it's on Amazon, and it's out there in the wild. I mean, do you consider this a Christian Catholic film?
Well, to me, I mean, part of what I connect to the film with are those Catholic values that I have are deeply embedded under the surface of it's really the backbone of the movie for me, because I'm going to have that why. Why am I going to wake up every single day and the first thing I think about is this movie and how I can do better for it and further into the world and use it as a source of good for people. But my goal as a filmmaker is never to be preachy or give someone their lesson of the day, because we get so much of that in movies. Yeah. I absolutely loathe it. Unless you're going to this very niche group and it's just going to live in that niche group and just be there. Yeah, then it's not a movie. I was setting out to then it's a movie, fine. But I'm setting out to make a film, which is what you said afterwards. Like, you didn't make a movie, you made a film. And I was like, you get it. Thank you. Yes. Because, I think
there's a difference.
Yeah, and what's great, what I'm trying to do is make a convincing argument, and you have to have a formidable opponent for wherever you're going with the story. Like, who's your hero and why, and what is she up against, and how is she going to wrestle with the ideas of the movie? And all your different characters represent different ways they see this world, for good or for bad, and what their motivations are behind why they think or feel or behave certain ways in the film. So, I don't want to make any straw man arguments in there. It's like, it has to feel real. And when you're really wrestling with big ideas like Motherland does, I never want to tip my hat about how I actually feel about anything, because I don't want that to influence the movie. Because as soon as someone sniffs something out that I might have a bias somewhere, then their walls go up and they're like, oh, this movie's about this because this person feels this way, or he's expressed that in this film in some not so subtle way. Because, and we don't like that. We don't want to go to the movies and all of a sudden we're on defense and we feel like, okay, I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop, and there it goes. I'm getting my ideological lesson of the day from this group over here. And we don't want that. So, and I don't want that for movies. I want people to say, I don't know what to think or where this is going. I actually have to use critical thinking and figure this movie out for myself.
Well, then you accomplished that. I mean, I was on the edge. I was like, I have to say thank you, because I spent a lot of time. I'm a Netflix expert, in all things documentaries. Nice. And I could probably save, everyone from all the things now, because I've watched every Netflix documentary. And what is so exciting about, these documentary is kind of having its moment right now in a way. You're having these films that are that are just like these true crime or these real life or whatever, and Motherland steps into that space. You know what I mean? Like, it's such a real person's story. I mean, hopefully this is coming off as a compliment, but it's such a real, relatable human story that it feels like you're watching like true crime or whatever, where you're like, do they get the guy? Like, or whatever it is at the end. You're on the edge of your seat. You really get, like, I felt like I was so like involved with the characters, and I, you're rooting for them, and you forget that you're watching a movie. You really do.
Great.
I mean, it is a film. And so I have to ask, like, is it something that you're specifically doing with your gift and talent as a director, as a creative, to stay true to your Catholicism, but to produce secular work? Like, are you wanting, like, if I said to you, hey, I've got a great Catholic movie about Saint Maria Goretti, do you want to direct it? Are you interested in that kind of work as well? Or do you find yourself wanting to stay? I mean, do you have to choose a Hollywood path, or does that make sense? Like the Angel Studios path, or
It was
the Hollywood path?
no, it's interesting because I was approached recently for a biopic for a prominent Catholic figure right now, and part of my pitch to the producer was like, look, again, you want to cast the biggest net as possible. You want to reach as many eyeballs as possible.
Yeah.
There's a way to make the movie so you service the Catholic audience, your core audience, but also make it available to the rest of the world. And if it's about a very famous priest, it's like, well, he has to go through so much. If he's a modern day Saint Augustine, like take him through that journey, and we have to figure out where his deepest wound in healing has to take place. And it's like, it has to be between him and his mother, because he's going to be dedicating his life to the Blessed Virgin. And the priesthood is going to be like the last 5 minutes of the movie. So everyone's getting a very human character. Everyone else in the Catholic world knows where this is going. Other people do not know where it's going, but you have to make it believable and root it in humanity with incredible performances, so people can drop their guard and go on the ride.
I love
and then
that.
also connect to it and feel. So I mean, there's some conversations happening with that right now, and we'll see what happens, because they have to be on board for that. That's like a risky thing to do, because like, oh no, he's so famous for being a priest. I'm like, yeah, but there's a way to do this, and to do it right. Because like, look, we all know Saint Augustine had a wild life, but we don't all have to experience that again. It's like, okay, that was in his past, but there's a way to do it and make it about the biggest relationships and how he's like wounded his parents and especially his mother. I'm like, let's work through that. So I'm open to it, to Catholic stories, but I'll always have the same approach. I'm like, let's show both sides. I want to keep the audience guessing. Will he or will he not become a priest in the end?
Yeah.
How can this guy be so bad and then all of a sudden go for the ultimate good? So that's one side of it. But also, being a Catholic, and I like with Motherland, you're in the habit or the practice of being in service of something greater than yourself, and always wanting to serve others. And when I look at the movie, like, how can I be in great ultimate service? How can I cover this movie in prayer? How can I make this movie dedicated to the Blessed Virgin and honor her in a way? And so there's like, if you've like rewatched the movie, there's like, in the midpoint, I give you like some Catholic Easter eggs in there. And it's like, if you pick it up, you do. If you don't, it's okay. I'll tell you in a podcast. but I find my way to put it in there. So I'm always like, that's what I'm aiming for. And
I love that.
And also like being a Catholic, like in Hollywood and on set, I'm not there to preach to anybody. I'm there to attract people to like what I'm doing right in my life. So all of us Catholics, we're out in the world representing Catholicism. So we better be that big bright light for people in their lives. It's like, how can I be that as a director? If I'm in charge of a 200-person crew, like, how can I got to make sure I am disciplined and unbreakable and a fearless leader, but also like this warrior poet priest that's leading everyone to make this great piece of creative work. And so and because of that, and also because we're Catholic, and one of my big moments of coming back to the faith, I was reading my way in, and I was reading the lives of the saints, and all the stories were so attractive. So my faith came last. It was a lot of like history and research and science and the stories of the saints and the lives of the saints. And I think a lot of people will put even just Bible characters up on a pedestal and not treat them like the human beings that they actually were and that they actually existed. So when you're tapping back into the humanity, you're like connecting with the Bible and its characters and the saints on such a deep level. And then you take that human empathy that's really heightened, and I start applying that to my cast and my crew, and everyone's a person and everybody matters. I know everybody's names, and me and the actors are really trying to work on what's the best version of this movie and what's the best version of the scene and this line. It's not about me and my ego. It's all about being in service to the film. What is getting us the best movie in the end? This isn't about me. I know the buck stops with me, but I want us all to win because this movie is going to represent everybody working on it. So there's a long-winded way to say, I just,
You're open to it.
I'm a people person. I just want to connect with them. Yeah.
No, but here's what I admire about you is that we've connected on Instagram, and so following you on Instagram, I see you every day. According to me, again, I make up your life. You sleep 30 minutes. And
Sometimes.
I don't know how you do it because every day you post getting up at like 3 a.m. You make your coffee, you say a rosary, you always have a quote, and you go work out. Okay, so far we have nothing in common. I need to do all the things that you're doing. I need you to run my life.
Everybody
Evan.
drinks coffee.
I need you to give me a schedule of how I need to run my life. But I mean, the fact that you get up that early every day, you get up pretty early. You get up like around 3 or 4. Like, I don't know. It seems to come around that time every day. And
yes.
And you don't, like you said, it's not that you put it out loud. You don't then look at the camera and say, I am now praying my rosary, and then in the name of the Father. Like, you don't do that. You like subtly, like a director, just kind of place it there, and let it speak for itself. But you've made that decision to do that publicly, so people do know if they go to your Instagram or whatever, if they're following you, they're going to know, okay, well, either this guy really likes those beads or that means something to him. And it's enough. And how do you make that conscious decision that I'm going to show that I lead my life with prayer? I start my day with prayer every day and, and respecting my body, by taking care of it. Like, those are two really big pieces. And so how do you decide that you're going to share that publicly with everyone? Because I really admire that.
Well, when I first started doing it is honestly just for my own personal accountability. I'm like, I don't think anyone will ever see this. I can't treat it that way because I'll just freak myself out. I just need to do it saying I'm committing to starting something. And it was about 6 years ago when I started doing this. Like next month, it'll be 6 years straight of like getting up between 3 and 4 and running this whole check down routine for the day. So,
wow.
And it started when my second son was born. I was like, okay. And it was like right when COVID happened. And I thought either I'm going to beat this situation or it's going to make me worse. So I'm just going to double down. I'm going to come out of this pandemic better than ever before. I looked at it as a time to just like go into my Batman cave and just do a bunch of push-ups until I can climb out of the pit.
Yes,
but
I love that.
Yeah, I just wanted the accountability. It was just to myself. I'm like, can I do this and just not break? And so it's been like 6 years of not breaking. And this is all with the idea that these are the things and the habits and the discipline that I need to form in myself, to recreate myself, to prepare for a potential directing job. Like acting as if I'm a director and I'm on set, I need to be the best in all these areas of mind, body, and soul. And how can I do this? I'm going to do these things. And it's great. No, I miss rosaries. I'm not perfect. There's like 10, 15 a year. I miss times a year. I might miss my rosary.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
I go into the gym like 5-6 days a week. And, but I'm getting just the weekends I turn off my alarm, but my body's just so in tune with it. I'm still waking up at somewhere between 3 and 4. Yeah, but it's been great. But then, what happens, like you were saying, like, I'm not there to declare, hey, look what I'm doing. Right. It's very filmmaker style of show, don't tell. Mm-hmm. So I'm just going to show, and you'd be surprised who it attracts. And it starts conversations or people that's inspired to pray their rosary or start going back to the gym, or they just love the quotes and they want to buy the books that I'm reading in whatever order I'm reading them. And I'm like, this is cool. You get I don't have a lot of followers or anything, but it's like you start to have like a little community of people you care about, and they're invested in you and you're invested in them. And it's a beautiful thing. So I don't see myself stopping anytime soon. I did it during the whole making of this movie, which was so fun because I was always because you think about film sets, they used to have really early
Yeah.
days. And I remember back in the beginning of my career as a production assistant, we have these crazy early call times, which would be like 5 a.m. or something, or maybe worst case scenario, 4:30 in the
Oh
morning.
my gosh.
But for me, on our own set, I was like, it's easy. I've been up for like 2 or 3 hours already doing all this other stuff. So then people on set would start to slowly find my Instagram and they would just be like, dude, what, you do this every day? And then everyone's like talking to me on set. They're like, you're blowing our minds, man. We do this. It's like, and then you come to set and you beat everybody to set and you're the first one there and the last to leave. It's like, yeah, I don't all directors do this? I don't know. Like, what do they do if they're not doing this?
That's crazy. So what time do you go to bed? That's the thing that I really want to know. That's what the public wants to know.
That's probably my most asked
It's
question.
got to be. It has to be. I mean, I know that that's the most
Yeah.
basic, easy. I love that. But I have no idea what time. I'm thinking now. I'm thinking you're probably going to sleep after this interview.
Yeah, it's 2 p.m. I'm going to go have dinner.
You're ready for your
I'm on
60s.
like I'm on my grandma's schedule pretty much. No, we put the kids down around 8:30 every night, and then I'm going to bed around 9:30, maybe 10 at the absolute
Oh my
latest.
gosh.
And
Okay.
then there's days where I have like networking events and I'm going out. Like we did the whole Oscars thing with MPI Original Films, and they had a big party. I'm like, I'm gonna be out late.
Yeah.
And guess what? I'm gonna get up early anyway. I know it's harder, but we're supposed to do hard things. I'm like, I'm gonna go for it. Can I not break? Like do all these things and also not break, and then also hopefully not get sick either.
Yes, seriously, Evan. So for Lent, what do you do? Do you add things like I should make myself eat chocolate? Like, do you? Because you're already living such a penitential
Oh, it's
life.
so funny.
You're like, I'm
I
gonna
wish
gain 5 pounds for Lent.
that's so funny. No, my favorite Lenten thing is what my mom gave up for Lent one year. She's like, I gave up the F word this year. I'm like, wow, look at it go.
Is that a hard thing for your mom? I can't. I'm.
They're from New Jersey.
Oh, see,
So
my
it
dad's
is.
from Jersey. Okay, now I understand. All right, say less.
But
I understand.
For Lent, I one of my guilty pleasures is playing video games, and I'll usually play with my kids. But for Lent, we're like, okay, we're giving that up because it's like maybe I can drop a bad habit and replace it with some good ones. So usually Lent, I got to find that one thing that maybe I would be better off without in my life that might take up too much time. So
Yeah.
this year I was like, okay, I'm going to give up playing video games with the boys, and we're going to do that together. And then the other thing I do is I only pray the sorrowful mysteries every day on my rosary.
Really?
So I'm really trying to put myself in the passion narrative
Wow.
for all of Lent and Easter. And that's great because, there's some days where you're praying the rosary and you're kind of you're going through it. Maybe you're not connecting deeply, or you're in and out with it, but then you'll start having some prayer sessions where you're like the Google Earth version, like on the ground with Jesus, like experiencing it. And you're just like freaked out. This is really overwhelming and powerful and moving. And it's beautiful, but it also, you start to really flex your creative muscles because you're starting to like look back through time and how was Mary experiencing this? What was it like for everybody else? What was it like for the apostles? And it becomes like a real kind of amazing meditation. So
That's cool.
and that someone recommended that to me like 5-6 years ago, and then I've just did it ever since. I'm like, oh, that's great. I need to do
That's
that.
brilliant.
So that's been rewarding every Lent. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I've never heard that.
But I should gain weight next year.
Please,
That's a good
for the
one.
rest of us, Evan, eat cheese. Like just
I'll just eat cheese every
please,
day.
eat a
My
French fry.
rosary
Do
and
something.
just a wheel of cheese. I'm working it down to the nub.
Be like the little people on the planet who are not little. But you make me want to know Mark Wahlberg so I can make y'all best friends, unless you're already best friends. But I feel like
Oh, that'd be fun. Like both work out
that's
together.
what and
like,
pray the
super early.
rosary,
That's what
pray
he does,
up, right? Isn't that what he says? Like pray up, stay
Mhm.
prayed up, or whatever he says.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm
Yeah,
gonna
he
work on
does.
that. I'm gonna try to become friends with Mark Wahlberg so you can be friends with Mark Wahlberg.
That'd be cool. I'd love to just like act like I showed up at the same gym as
Yeah,
him.
just
I'm
be
like,
like, oh,
oh,
you go here?
there's another 4 a.m. dude here. Hey, what's your name?
Start flexing, your rosary drops out. You're like, weird. It's like trying to meet a hot girl.
That'd be so cool. It'd be cool to meet him one day. I'm sure
It
he's an
would
awesome guy.
be. I think y'all would have a lot more in common. I mean, I really do. He might need a friend. Who knows? I mean, how many people work out and pray the rosary every day? But
I don't know if that many.
not on my Instagram feed. It's just you.
I hope people watch this and they start messaging. Well, I do. I work out and pray the rosary. I'm like, cool. Send them over. We'll start a group.
That would be awesome. That would be amazing. Okay, I'll start the group. No, we all know that's not going to happen.
You need more stuff than you.
So I got to know, are you going to continue your Napa journey? Are you going to be back there this summer? Or are you going to, like, now that you're in, are you in? Like, have we beat Eric all the way that
Eric still got me beat. He's got the big Catholic family and everything. But no, I am. I was talking to Lana recently, and they're going to do the arts festival again this year, which is really cool. So they're already starting to plan it out, and they're thinking about putting together a first-time filmmakers panel. So
Brilliant.
directing your first feature and what that's like. I'm like, that's great. People need to know.
Yeah.
Because to make that leap from short film, how do I break through? What do I do? And then let's say you get that first directing job. Like, what do you do on your first day? So not just on set, but you got hired, you go into prep. What does that look like? So, kind of demystify it, give Catholics the tools they need, because, Catholics in the arts, like, we got to step it up.
Yes.
We need to have absolute excellence. Like, we set the standard for art on planet Earth. And it should, it doesn't go away during the Renaissance and the Baroque. It's like, we should still be holding that down today. We should have the best music and the best choirs. I don't care if it's Latin Mass or Novus Ordo, it doesn't matter. We should be having the best music, the best paintings, the best film, the best art. It should be the best. Because if it's truly the best church and it's the one and only true Catholic church, like, we got to flex everywhere we possibly can. So that's why I'm trying to hold myself to, like, a better standard and try to do great pieces of work that are powerful and moving and make people think. It's like, yeah, it's got Catholic backbone and spirit. If you read between the lines, you'll see the family values and things that, like, I challenge, like, listeners to go watch the movie and be like,
Yes.
oh, I see what he did there. I see what stories he's pulling from and trying to bring these mirrors to the screen. Just like you have the like the prototypes of characters in the Old Testament that show up in the New. Like, I'm trying to do the same thing in my work. So.
Oh, and you do it.
So
yeah, for sure. And but that's what made it stand out. Like, not that there isn't a lot, but you're right. I don't know. I mean, I feel like we're trying to do what you say. Like, I feel like we're trying to get back to that amazing, wonderful work of artistry and creativity, that's happening in the church. And it is exciting. It feels like we're on the precipice of that. Like, I don't feel like we've completely, like, made the jump, but we're kind of, like, you were kind of like waving at it. Like, we're just kind of wanting to go there. And I think that that's exciting to see, at least that energy. Do you feel that? I mean, you're actually in Hollywood. I'm not. Do you feel that in the creative community, like, of those who are Catholic, who are strong Christians, strong Catholics, that they are wanting to make really good work, make really good art?
Yeah, the desire is absolutely there.
Good.
Like, everyone's aligned. Like, we need excellence. We need great work. We need something that's, any culture from anywhere can walk in the room and look at that piece of art on the wall and they know it. We need to have the same reaction to pieces of cinema or music and what's at the core of it all. But, it's going to take, like, the faith community getting behind that. And that's really difficult. We think about those artists and those different movements and waves that are, the Renaissance is roughly 150, 200 year period. And then Baroque period is like another 100, 120 years or so. So you have these big art waves, and there's other ones that come up, like neorealism and all the other things that come later. But you have a lot of great sponsors of that art, and the sponsors were coming directly from Rome. And it's like they were paying for these things. They were commissioning the best artists, and they were using their talents and skills to service God and show what we can do. Look at what we are trying to be in the image of the Creator and create these beautiful images. So the sponsorship's tough, and it didn't really hit me as hard as hard as that, how I feel about it now until I was actually at the Institute last year when Leo Severino came and showed the trailer for Zero AD.
Yes.
And what was so crushing, he's like, this movie costs about roughly 100 million, a little bit more. And he goes, we didn't get any money from anybody in the United States. We had to raise it all internationally. We couldn't get anyone to donate in the United States for the movie. I'm like, so you had to raise $100 million and you couldn't get it from the wealthiest country on planet Earth. Like, that's crazy to me. But that, he found a way and God was in his corner and he got it done. So good for him, because him and Alejandro Monteverde, they're making great films.
They are.
Like, so it's great to like watch them grow and blow up and do great things. And of course we got Mel and he's doing like epic things. And it's like, I'm like, cool. We have great bars right now.
Yeah.
Like we have like the pinnacle of cinema with these guys. So we have great Catholic bars and ways to say, okay, well, that's the goal. That's the standard. Let's get there. So that's what I look at. I'm like, okay, where's my career trajectory? What do I have to do to tack and finally get to movies that have those kinds of budgets, and also meet financiers and prove what I can do for them. So like, MPI is very happy with the work I did and the reach we had and all the awards that we won. I'm like, cool. It's great to know that like I delivered on my part of the bargain and everyone's very happy with what they got. And I'm satisfied and the cast is satisfied. They're all satisfied. And it's great because everyone wants to go back to work together again. It's like, okay, so how do we scale? How do we keep getting better?
Yes.
So
Fatherland.
yeah, we can do it. So I'm optimistic. Like I said, I'm an eternal optimist. So I look at Hollywood and how things are changing, and you can always find the bad. If you go looking for the bad, you're gonna find the bad. If you go looking for the good, it's out there. I look at like Ellison buying Warner Brothers and merging with Paramount, and they want to commit 25 more feature films to theaters. Because if you have the theatrical experience, then you have a shared experience. You have a shared experience, then you have culture, and we need to get culture back.
Amen.
Right. So we have studios that are going to be investing in that. So
Good.
like we are on the edge of like a good era of filmmaking coming up. Now, are they willing to start making films that mass audiences will say, oh, they've had a string of hits in a row, like it's the 90s and you just can't miss. You're like throwing darts behind your back and it's always hitting a bullseye.
Yeah.
Like we could do that. Yeah, we could do that. We have the power to do it, but you got to knock off all the other nonsense you're trying to propagandize your films with. And you alienate people. Like you can't do that. It's supposed to be a medium to bring people together, get them in the dark cave. And this is your one light to all sit around and share stories and then be moved and inspired and take that out into the world and create new memories and see yourself in a new way. Like we can do that. So I'm optimistic.
I love that.
I feel like I have my role to play and I'm excited for that.
I'm with you. I'm going to cheer you on. Like, I'm so here for all of that and everything that you just said.
Yay.
I'm like,
ooh, Liv's in my inbox. You're in my inbox. I'm so excited. It's gonna be good, positive.
That is one thing. I'm a human cheerleader, Evan. So if you have a bad day on set or whatever, you call me and I'll cheer everybody, like scream and say, come on guys, you could do it. Because I just think what you're doing is you're exactly right. This is the cave in the dark and and the movie is the light, and we are sharing a shared cultural experience. And we did lose a lot of that after COVID. We did lose a lot of our in-person and, especially with the arts and things like that. So I love that you're wanting to do that. Like, that's why I love doing, this podcast, because it's bringing people together and it's human beings listening to other people's stories. And you are, as a director, the ultimate storyteller. And so I want you to keep doing those stories for sure. I got to ask you though, for those people who are listening who maybe have left the church like you had at some point, right? They're not getting up at 3 a.m. every day to pray the rosary, or maybe they're not going to mass anymore, or whatever that looks like. Do you have any actual resources that you're like, okay, this book really kind of brought me back, or this novena, or is there, this saint was my man, like, is there anything, or woman, anything that you can give that tangibly somebody can connect to if they're wanting to come back towards the faith?
It's going to come down. It's hard to just have like kind of a blanket answer because everyone's dealing with a different reason for why they left the faith. For me, it was just poor catechesis. It's probably like 90% of why people leave, if not 100%. But I was reading a series of books by Dr. Brant Petrie. He has a great way of connecting Catholicism, roots of Christianity, all the way back to the Old Testament and how everything came to be, and talking about culture and how it all affects, and all the archetypes of Jesus all throughout, and how it all leads up to this. So he's got a great series. I mean, he's got like the Marian roots, and then the Jewish roots of Mary, the Jewish roots of the Eucharist, which was great. Like if you don't really understand what the Eucharist is, like go there, because he helps to connect the dots. Let me
I
think.
love that.
What was really helpful for me was, I feel like I'm like textbook Catholic here because I'm dropping like like I was reading like Scott Hahn, like Rome Sweet
That's
Home,
okay. I
and I
mean,
was like,
that's why
this
we
was,
have Scott
and,
Hahn.
oh, he's just great. I'm like, oh man, oh man, this is awesome. We got like all time great over here. So it
He's the
was like
goat.
reading him and having the perspective of him and his wife,
Yeah.
because, I came back, and my wife's not Catholic, so for me reading that book was really healing in a way, because I'm like, oh, like these are things you can do to like, if you're not both on the same page, like you got to do what you have to do as a Catholic and follow. And once you find the truth, you got the truth, and then there's no going back. Like for him, Kimberly didn't have that yet, but he still supported her, and he never let her go to church alone. He was still a great loving husband, and it's like a great reminder for me: be a great loving husband, love your wife, love your children, be that light. Be if you can go be that example everywhere else in the world with coworkers on set or whatever you're doing, you should 100% be doing that at home.
Amen.
Trying to think, there's another book. I'm
No,
blanking
it's
on it
okay.
right
Do you have a
now. This is a
saint that's
bummer.
close to you
But
that you lock arms with ever? Like even when you're doing a
and
project or
oh
anything, do you
yeah,
have a patron?
well, I'm reading a consecration. No, I'm doing the novena to Saint Joseph right now. So I'm
Same.
on like day 8,
Yeah.
right? Oh, good. Hey, check you out.
Same. Yeah.
But I really love the book by Father Donald Calloway, The Consecration to Saint
Sure.
Joseph, and that was just like huge. And I love doing that. I did it with like a men's group, and we're all reading it, and that was huge. I mean, I love Saint Joseph. Anything with the Holy Family. I have like I think a lot of Catholics probably have their own litany that they
Yeah.
formed. I was
That's
just
fair.
like, say, okay, like for me, it was always Father Padre Pio and Maximilian Kolbe and Saint Rita of Cassia and Blessed Imelda Lambertini. There's a lot of saints like with huge Eucharistic ties that I'm very, very drawn to, like Saint Tarcisius and Saint Clare of Assisi. So there's many Eucharistic saints that really have attracted me over the years. So
I love
I
that.
and then all of a sudden I'll throw a saint in there like Saint Ursula and the 100,000 Virgin Martyrs. I'm just like, yeah, because you just get those crazy numbers pumped up and like in the in one go right there.
Get them
So
all. Yeah, I love that. It's like Pokemon Go, but but
oh, it was crazy. I started writing them down. I'm like, I can't read. It's like going through 300 saints like in one sitting. It was hard. It was doing that for like a bit, and then
that's too funny.
it got dwindled down, and then it depends. Like just like anybody else, and I'm
Sure.
sure this happens to you. This happens to me. You have like a season of spiritual dryness, and I'm still trying to just trying to trudge my way through it. And all of a sudden, something happens, and the light goes back on, and you're like, whoa, I'm back. I'm back in it.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. I'm glad I stayed in it this whole time, but I'm on the other side, and I'm just feeling deep, and I'm going deeper than ever
I
before.
love that.
So sorry. I know that you just had like a little
No,
question,
but
but I love tangents.
this is probably why we got along. No, that's fantastic because you don't know who, like you said, everybody has different things. So I love asking people what's working for them because it might resonate with
Mhm.
someone who says, "Oh, I don't know who that is," or I've never heard of Scott Hahn, or I don't know, Saint whatever. And so that's why it's great that you gave us a list. So let me,
I would say
yeah.
for anybody who's a skeptic, I would say this because I had a like great skepticism at one point. I actually started like listening to a lot of like exorcists,
Oh, interesting.
because you start hearing all of their stories, like whether it's Father Ripperger or Rehill or there's so
Yeah.
many that I've been watching over the years. But that was a big thing, because if you have a lot of darkness in your life and you start to see why you have that shadow looming over you in some kind of way, you start to connect the dots. Like, okay, you're starting to engage yourself in all different ways that you can spiritually. So it's the mental and the spiritual, it's what you're seeing and what you're feeling. So I would say anyone who's a skeptic, like, go study Eucharistic miracles and exorcism like stories, not just when it's Halloween. Like get in, like understand
Real
like the real
stories. Yeah.
battle that's happening. It's like really horrifying, you know. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Evil's
don't
real.
take that lightly.
Yeah, and you should
Yep.
be scared of it. So,
Mhm.
no, I love that. Well, the way that we end on the podcast is that I always ask people, how can we pray for you? How can we support you in prayer? Because there's going to be, hopefully millions of people listening to this, and we want them all praying for you. So, what can we be praying? How can we support you?
You know, it just helped me be a light in the darkness. Hollywood can be very challenging at times, especially with who you're around, and sometimes there's no friendlies anywhere. So, yeah, just pray for me, pray for my family, pray for my wife and kids. Um, they need prayers too, because I'm especially when I'm gone a lot, because I travel a ton. I did like 85 flights last year with the movie, so I've gone a lot. You know what that's like, because you do crazy amount of
Yeah,
flights too. So
yeah.
yeah, prayers for them and for our household, and just God's spiritual protection and favor over us. I would love that, and pray for other Catholic filmmakers that we can unite and find each other. I think sometimes we get stuck in our own little camps and we're all trying to do our own thing. But I would say I would pray for like the utmost unity in like the Catholic world amongst the artists. I think that'll be a great boon to
I
civilization.
love that. That's awesome. Friend, thank you so much for taking time to come hang out in the living room and just chit chat about all the things and living the life that I wish I was. I'm like so wanted to be in Hollywood and New York and whatever. And God's like, so that's cute. You're gonna stay in Texas. But keep doing what you're doing. And thank you so much for sharing so much of your story. And I can't wait to see you in Napa. I'll see you this summer. So
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. We have so much
we're
fun.
having a
I'm looking forward.
blast.
Thank you for yeah, and thank you for having me on. This is so wonderful. Thanks to Megan and Mackenzie for organizing. You guys are all awesome over there. You're doing Lord's work. I love
Thank
it.
you, friend.